Hello, everyone. Welcome to That Local Life podcast. I'm your host, Sydney. This is Tyler.
What's up, everybody? We have a special guest on today. This is episode 2, by the way. We have Ryan Idleman here. He's a local Roswell native.
No.
Local?
Not,
You
I
there
live in Roswell.
Okay. Well, he is local at least, of a town of maybe, 15 people?
Not very many people.
This is beautiful. That is what this podcast is about small towns, and that is a perfect representation. So, Ryan,
Yeah.
please give us a lit'll information about you. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Quartz Hill, California.
Okay.
A lot of Californians here. I've been working in the area for about 33 years. I started working in Boise. Come from an ag background in dirt. Where I grew up was a small town called Quartz Hill, again, and it was about the size of Parma, so pretty small, and it was alfalfa and almond orchards. And as time went by, things changed a lot, and we started working, doing dirt work in Idaho. I guess it's been a little over 30 years, and we love our time outdoors. So the resources that the state had for outdoor activities, fishing, hunting, and just being outside was very appealing. So we made the move here actually a couple of times when our kids were little. We pushed back. We didn't have the finances that we thought we had to make it, and so it was tough, but it was a good move. But we sure miss where we came from. But we saw a lot of changes that didn't suit the small town that I grew up in.
Do you guys ever go back and visit?
Very rarely do we go back and visit, and it's actually heartbreaking when I go back because I see what development did, and again, very small town. Our fair there was called the Alfalfa Festival, so it was all ag, and as developers came in the 80s. They made a change, and kind of the neat part about meeting and visiting with you guys is in this local life. The reality of it is that a lot of the local people there really should have voiced their opinion a little bit more. Yeah, they should have. And back then, obviously, we didn't, right?
Of course.
But we do go back sometimes, not very often. I think I've been back twice in the last 10 years.
Not that small town you remember.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Is industry what brought you guys this way then?
No. Seeking a better life for even grandchildren before we don't even have any grandchildren yet. I've got some sons that we're waiting. We're like, hey guys, let's make something happen here.
They're like, eventually we'll get there.
Eventually. But I think it's important to look ahead, and generations back. The United States was founded on pursuit of religious freedom and things of better life, and so I think it was on my heart to provide for future generations that aren't even here yet. So
that is our vision, 100%. So
yeah, and this fit the build.
Yeah,
it's a great area.
Absolutely, that is awesome. So have you guys always lived in Roswell? Kind of moved around Idaho?
No, Star.
Okay.
Maybe 20 years ago, we were in Eagle. It got a little big.
Eagle is huge.
Huge.
So is Star.
Huge. Yeah,
it's
both
so
of
big.
them.
They're pretty much all one town anymore.
Yes, they are. Then we moved to the Caldwell side of Middleton.
Okay.
And kind of what got us out here was we had all potato fields around us, and then all of a sudden there comes the proposed development sign. Nice. And I said, oh, that's not good. And so long story short, we
let's cash out now and get out.
Yeah, we ran out to Roswell. Man, I can't even believe that my street is paved. There's there's so
Roswell is a small town.
Yeah, it's
in
awesome.
Every sense of the word. So it sounds like you have done quite a bit of things. You discussed about ministry, dirt work. I know you did own the burger joint over in Parma.
Yep.
I mean, what kind of industries are you in? What do you do?
A lot of stuff. Right now we have kind of a hobby rancher. We run between 30 and 50 head of Angus cattle, and then but it's fun because we keep the herd in house, and every calf that's born, we get to see it born. And,
that's awesome.
But going back, I've done everything from dirt work is my trade, pipeline, underground dirt. Baseball training. I did baseball training. We started a company years ago in California, and it was based on kind of prayer and ministry, and that's what we used that platform for, was to reach kids. And next thing you know, it grew, and we were building our own outdoor facilities, our own indoor facilities, and I was like, whoa, I did not see this coming. And so after we exited from that, moved up, back up here, I continued with dirt work, and we've done 4 or 5 different businesses in town here, 208 Turf, Canyon Hardscape Supply in Caldwell, American Railroad Ties, several different businesses that we built from the ground up.
That is awesome.
And you mentioned the burger joint in Parma. That was the only one that
that's kind of new.
We walked into an existing business, and it was really fun for me to figure out, because it's somebody else's baby and dream, and it was their thing for 30 years, and you want to respect that.
Absolutely.
But I got to go in there without ever owning a restaurant, and so I got to look at it through business lens and look at, okay, well, this is why this area of the restaurant doesn't work. And so I got to put numbers to things. So normally when I build a business, and I think we've done 7 or 8 in the last 15 years.
That's amazing.
I build them from scratch. And this one was probably the funnest out of all of them, because it was more of a mystery to me.
Right.
I had to go in there and figure out something that other people had working, and I loved the challenge, because ultimately you want to get in that environment and be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I've come from the background of the restaurant industry myself, and I know it definitely can be cutthroat at times, for sure. And, especially since you coming in from the outside and never being a part of it. Imagine getting to experience that was kind of a shock to you a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
it was.
Yeah,
it was.
Just food cost. People get angry when you mess with their stuff, and it's it's pretty wild. I mean, usually what they say is 50% love you, 50% hate you. So I mean, no matter what you do, it always seems like you had a critic. But at the same time, you're creating something beautiful. And when somebody takes a bite out of that hamburger, they're like, "Oh my goodness, this is the best thing I've ever had." And that's really what you look forward to in the restaurant industry.
And I applied what I've always done in business, and that is, whatever we're doing, we use the best products, we hire the best people, and we pay them the absolute maximum that we can. And so I took that into the restaurant industry, which is kind of not that way.
Correct.
And so we did get a lot of pushback on things like, oh, that's really expensive, and this. Well, what we're providing,
just take a bite out.
Yeah, exactly was a little different thing. But some people are really they're conscious on how much they're spending. So,
well, and it's hard too, being like, I was from Boise. Everything is so expensive and overpriced there, and then coming here, I'm like, everything's not that way. And so when you raise the price, I think it kind of shocks people.
It
they're
does.
Like, we're not in a big town,
No, and that's true. And if you can extend that into your employees and what you're trying to accomplish in a business, it really affects the community in a way that people don't know. And for example, if you're in a small town like we are, and you're trying to drive prices down, and everybody's only satisfied with inexpensive things, whether it's food, groceries, or sporting goods, it doesn't matter. Well, you're asking that business owner to really not be able to be successful. And that's why you always wonder, hey, why do all these small town businesses close? Well, you got to get behind them.
Yeah.
And you've got to push a little with them.
Yeah, you got to be able to command the prices that you need. I mean, what people don't realize is all the back end stuff that goes into it.
Tons.
So when you pay that employee a little higher wage, it translates into the food cost. But at the same time, you're providing that employee with a livable wage.
Absolutely.
Something that they can support their family on. And a lot of the times people don't understand that. They just look at the price on the menu like, why'd you change the price this week? You know, versus, you're supporting a small shop. You're letting them provide for people. And I mean, like exactly what we're doing here. We have 12 people that we support, and
that's incredible.
In order for us to maintain that, prices have to be where they're at.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's a balance. You know,
there's
just a balance line, and you never know what you had till it's gone, and that's the reality of it.
Yes.
And so, I think that just doing the best you can and surrounding yourself with the best people that you can, and being very transparent is really a success, and it's a recipe in business that works. Just be transparent and do what you got to do, and hopefully you get your group.
We have been very fortunate. We have had some of our employees have been with us for almost 10 years. So
wow.
Did you guys have a lot of problem in the restaurant side of things of finding people to come work for you guys?
We did.
Especially on the Idaho side. Yeah.
So we did initially. Dynamics have changed in the labor force, and I've got a couple of beliefs on when COVID occurred, things like that, and there was a lot of money circulating. Well, none of that money is free money. It came from somewhere. But when you receive that and you get it on a little bit of a consistent level, it kind of starts to program people, hey, I don't have to show up to work because I made it through this last year without really going to work. So we kind of saw the ethics been changing for years. And now with a lot of that money going out like that, that's kind of the problem that I saw is, people were coming in, you start to weigh that scale if you're cut from that cloth of, well, I can only earn $12 an hour here, but I can collect this much if I don't work. And the sad part about that is that the people that are contributing on the payment side of it, that money gets into circulation, and that money comes from somewhere. It comes from the people that are paying the taxes.
100%.
But we found a really good core of people to work, and we adjusted the schedule, and we got a little bit of fight on we weren't open that many hours. Right. But what I did is we found 3 people. We gave them a 40-hour schedule because I quickly learned in the restaurant industry that when people skipped shifts or left shift and another person came in, if the prep table wasn't ready, the person walking in was not happy.
Yeah.
And then, so we thought, let's just eliminate that. Let's find 3 full-time people. Let's make sure they have their 40 hours a week, and that's all that restaurant will be open. So we weren't even open 40 hours because of prep time and cleanup time. But at the end of the day, it was success. The same 3 people worked together. They had a cohesive work environment, and it worked. So
that's awesome.
Amazing. That's amazing. So coming from us, you've come from a small town, and currently you live in a small town.
Yep.
I mean, what's your vision? I mean, you sound like you got a vision. You've built a lot of businesses. What's next?
Just poking along. Want to be part of the community. Try to fill the needs. There's always a place to help, and do things, and nothing feels better than to actually, give and help when you can. And we've been very fortunate, and Lord blessed us at this point in our life to where we're able to do that to some extent. But I'm always looking for businesses to build.
So after you got the burger business, with it already having been established, is that something you want to do again since you liked it?
I like the challenge of the business, of getting into a business that I got to look at through a lens that was not tainted in any way. And so I think that's what I liked about it, not necessarily the food.
Yeah.
But I also, it is rough. And, palates, what I did learn is palates are all different, right? We all have a palate. So what you think is wonderful, I might think that's terrible.
Yeah.
So in the restaurant industry, I thought, well, here's 2 things we can really key in on. Customer service, quality of food. And as long as we're putting good customer service, great food out there in a clean environment, we can't make everyone happy, and that's just going to be how it is.
But those people will find you.
Yeah.
You enjoy that. So.
They do. And
niche businesses often outperform anything else, especially when it comes to the restaurant industry. If you can find something that's super unique and you have a core process around it, oftentimes that ends up doing a lot better, and you have a lot more hardcore people who follow it and will fight for it to stay.
That's true.
Versus a more of a broad, generally like a C-store, where you can get your snacks anywhere.
Sure.
But where it differs is the customer service, like you were talking about, the people that come in your store, the employees, the processes surrounding it. So I think that's very helpful.
It is, and it's just business is, I think business has taken actually a change for the better.
Mm.
When I was a kid and prior to that, the United States was founded on owner-operated businesses.
Yeah,
the
100%.
owner was there. Henry Ford was there the whole time, going through everything. And then in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and now where we are now, we're reverting back. But I think what happened was you didn't really have a successful business if you had to be there.
Yeah.
If you couldn't just say, hey, I own a business, I don't have to do nothing. That's how we measured success, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I never agreed with that. I figure if your name's on it and it's your brand on it, you better monitor it.
Yeah.
And I think now with, coming back to it's a little more challenging to find employees now. So what are owners doing? They're coming back in.
They're working more.
They're working more. And I think that that's a great foundation because it really puts those businesses back where they should be.
Well, as an employee too, if I see the owner, my boss, and they're busting their butt, I'm going to want to do the same thing.
Well, there's a level of respect there,
Yeah.
right? Hey,
Yeah,
this guy's coming
exactly.
in here and he's working
Yeah.
and he's earning it. And but you're also right on the niche market.
Yeah.
We did 208 Turf was an artificial grass company in
Okay.
Boise. And Boise was primarily one of our largest areas. And when we first started that, probably maybe 10 years ago, and I've actually bought and sold that company back twice.
Wow.
And it just because it worked out. Great guys bought it.
Awesome.
We bought it back, grew it again, sold it to some other great guys. And but first thing we addressed in that was the Boise pet market. And what was happening is Boise was creating this storm of high density homes and homes close together, and Idahoans love their dogs big time, especially in
do.
Boise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Her aunt owns Escape the Crate.
Escape the Crate, she has 2 locations, and then she just opened up Bodega,
Yeah.
and it's like a pet supply thing.
Oh,
but
right
she
on.
it's escalated. Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just taken off.
Yeah.
I used
So-
to work down on Broadway, and everybody loves their dogs around there.
Everybody
it's awesome,
does.
though. Like, I'm a dog person,
too.
but it's just, it's...
And
yeah,
that
it's
created
big
a market.
thing. Yeah.
We saw that and we were
Oh,
like, well,
yeah.
wait a second. If they're building these houses so close together and there's no sunlight hitting them, the grass isn't growing and
Yeah.
dogs are coming in muddy, and it's a hygiene thing
Yep.
too. And now obviously that's caught on. There was
Yeah.
another company that was doing it in town when we started. And the cool thing when we started doing that is even our competitors did good work.
Good.
They, normally you
Yeah.
get into some things and you go, oh, those guys don't do a good
I
job.
know those guys. They're not that great.
Yeah. And they were all pretty good,
Yeah.
and so now that, that's just the niche thing, So when I get into a business, I'm trying to look for that small spot, that
special
target.
market.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what's the next thing? What do you want to do?
Oh, man. I waterfowl hunt a lot.
Okay.
So I spend a lot of time outdoor. I fly fish. So I hit the river here behind the store.
Nice.
Love stopping in here and visiting with the gals up front every
We
time I
love having
can.
ya.
Yeah. Yep. And just looking, and listening.
Yeah.
Listen where if you hear a need and you can help out, get in it. Money only gets you so far.
It does.
Yeah.
It
It
just,
really does. I mean, people crave that human connection. So if you can tie that in with business and to help yourself be financially free, but also help everyone else become financially free, I think that says something.
It
about a
does.
person. So.
And money is just in my opinion, it's a great tool. It's a horrible master.
Awesome
So if that's what you're living for, you're going to really struggle for a long time.
I fully agree. I've
Yeah.
always
100%
stood by
the
my
truth.
word when I said I will never do a job based on how much I'm paid. I
Yeah,
have to
that's
enjoy
awesome.
it. Yeah,
Got to.
I have to enjoy it.
Yes.
What about you guys here? So what's the next step here?
Well, as terms of, we have a few businesses. Obviously, we have the restaurant, we have the store, and now this podcast is one of them. With this podcast, it's kind of turned it into its own little media company. So we do advertising for businesses in the local area, sponsorships. And from here, we're utilizing all of that money to build infrastructure, bike paths, parks, event centers. That way we can inspire our youth to give our youth something to do while we're here in this community, because small towns, there's really not a lot of stuff to do. I mean, short of if you ride dirt bikes or have razors or you like to hunt, there's really
That's a lot of pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I love that
amazing
stuff.
stuff. But
there are those people that don't like it.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
and that's okay
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And not always do they want to. Parents are like, let's just take them down to the park for the day, and there's nothing for them to do. So oftentimes we see our youth in these small areas get into a lot of trouble.
Sure.
Because, if they're bored, I'm going to go find somebody's house to egg because it's fun, versus, hey, they're having an awesome event down there. Let's go down there and hang out for the night. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here with this company. The store's kind of along the same lines of providing those events. I mean, you showed up to our parking lot party.
Heck
the
yeah,
other
I
day.
did. It was awesome.
We had
it was
a
really
ton
awesome.
of people
Yeah,
love it.
We had over
It's
200
just
people show up to that.
Wow.
It was
something
I was
fun to
shocked.
do. We were shocked. We
Yeah.
did not expect
Yeah.
that.
And it was fun.
Yeah, it was a
Good.
bunch of fun. People loved it. So I really liked planning it. I kind of planned that, and so I want to start
Good
doing
job.
more. Thanks. Yeah, I want to start doing more events. I think
Yeah.
starting next spring, kind of do one at the beginning of every month or something. Maybe turn it.
That'd be awesome.
Have some
Yeah.
fruit or something,
Car
from the
shows
local
and
farmers. Yeah.
farmers markets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, because there are a lot of resources,
Yeah.
out here. And
Yes.
the funny part is the resources that we're all involved in these small towns, they're found in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an incredible link.
It is. It is.
But that was a great parking lot party, man. It was
Yeah,
so-
we had a blast.
Yeah, we appreciate you having out. So it was
Yeah.
awesome. And from there, we really want to kind of capitalize. And going back to not having a lot of industry in this area, we want to build another store in Adrian, kind of a market to kind of draw and attract more people to come to this area. I mean, I know we like our hidden gem. We don't want too many people to know
Sure.
about it, right? But we also want to provide for the people that are here. And
That's right.
And there's nothing for them here. So if we were able to capitalize on that, build a grocery store, provide for some more jobs for the local community, as well as give them a good service. And I know that we've been here for the last 40 years, and I know we can at least provide a good service.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
that's definitely the next step for us there. And then obviously on to more locations just like this one.
Wow.
We love destination areas, and that's kind of
Yeah. And
it's kind of our play.
next spring,
So-
we're going to start on our beer bar.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a beer bar, and that'll make stuff like the parking lot
I
party.
do drink
a
beer,
hit.
so
Who doesn't like
just
beer,
saying.
you know?
Beer too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That is the next step, at least for this spot, is our beer bar. We actually got granted some grant money from the state of Oregon, Small Biz Oregon. They gave us $75,000 to invest into our business here.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
the first time.
Wow.
That's the first time that a business on this side of the state has gotten any kind of funding in the last 20 years.
No kidding.
Yeah,
So we
they
were-
were
That's
stoked
exciting.
to give it to us. It was awesome.
Very exciting to receive that money. So with that money, we've been able to build a couple new bathrooms. We've been finishing up our seating area over here, and we're using the rest of that to build outdoor seating and a beer bar. So we
Wow.
have beer taps and kind of expand on the restaurant, provide a little bit more jobs too.
That's really exciting.
That's
That is.
amazing.
That is. And the building a little more infrastructure in a small town, with just more jobs and a little,
Yeah.
like you said, things to do. It's best to be proactive in that and be part of it, because you guys you're from here,
Yeah, born
and
and raised.
you know better than anyone probably the growth.
I hope so.
Yeah, we hope so, or at least how the locals would
Yes.
like to see the
Uh-huh.
growth. And so you don't want somebody that's not from here coming in
Yeah.
and just saying, well, here's what we're going to do.
Mhm.
And it may
Exactly.
not fit
Fit
the lifestyle so
yeah,
much.
exactly.
Exactly.
We're putting a little pressure on you. No pressure, but a little pressure.
Yeah.
Some pressure.
That's all right. Put all the pressure
Yeah,
on
okay.
me.
A lot of pressure.
We can handle it. Yeah, so we have 7 acres on our property here too. I mean, that's where we're going to host some of our events. But we were really trying to build a yurt stay, kind
There
of
you
more
go.
like a vacation rental, because we do have the Lake Owyhee, and we would absolutely
Yes.
love to capitalize on that. And you do not find anything like that in this area. There's no motels anywhere close by. There's nothing for any of those people to do that you're trying to attract to come to your area. So that's one thing that we are working on that's been a challenge, to say the least,
Yeah.
of planning and zoning and
Sure.
making sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. So
And you're on a
That's fun.
highway, so that's a little trickier.
highway,
Yeah.
it is
Yep.
tricky. I mean, we have all the access roads and everything ready to go, but it's just a matter of convincing the right people.
Yeah. Well, it can be tricky for sure.
Definitely.
But that's a good idea, you know,
Mhm.
because we've my brother actually came up a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
maybe two couple of years ago, and stayed up the
At the Owyhee River Ranch up there?
the Owyhee River Ranch, and he called and said, "Man, this is great." He goes, "I
Yeah,
can't believe there's
beautiful.
no other places out here."
Yeah.
And I said, "No, that's it."
Yeah, that
Well,
That-
and there's a lot of people around here who live here, but their family members don't. So when their family comes and stays, it's like,
yeah,
we
there's
got this
nothing.
place. That's it.
Yeah, right.
You can stay in our guest house
Yeah.
that hasn't had
And
anybody
people
in it
like
for
to
the
be
last 20
closer
years.
to their family, to the things around here, you know?
Yeah,
And that's a
absolutely.
great goal, because it you know, not just business, but for the people that are looking to have. I mean, some people come out here to fly fish at Owyhee River,
Oh, a lot of
and it's
people.
their dream trip. I
Yeah.
mean, they're out of state. This is where they're coming for 2 or 3 days,
Yeah.
and they've been looking forward to this for 5 years.
We were at a convenience store convention in Vegas just a few months ago, and we ran into some guy from,
Oklahoma.
wasn't even from here,
Uh-huh.
you know, not even close, and he had literally just been up here just
like-
to fly
Isn't that
fish.
wild?
And
Like
he
the
was
Owyhee River?
stoked. He was like, "I've heard so many great things about it.
Yeah.
Like, it was so pretty," and
Yeah.
he was going through showing us all his pictures, and we're like, "This is nuts!
Yeah, we're
like,
like,
this is so cool."
That's you. That's where you're
Yeah.
at, right?
Yeah.
So that is awesome. But that's what we're trying to attract and give people, that experience. We love
Sure.
building experiences, and I believe in spending all of my money on experiences, fun stuff to do, rather than more materialistic things. So if I can provide that for somebody, it's
Heck
awesome.
yeah, that's a win-win, man.
Yeah.
And those guys that are coming to do that, if they had really nice lodging, great fishing, that's what you're doing. You're creating a lot of memories for them,
Yeah.
a desirable
Mhm.
place to be.
Absolutely.
And the reality of people that are making that trip and spending that money to come to this small town, there's a misconception that a lot of out-of-town people are going to really be trashy and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, they're coming to enjoy this place.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to want to enjoy it. And you don't enjoy it by trashing stuff.
No, and
No,
it takes a
no,
certain kind of
100%.
person, a certain kind of crowd that wants to
To
come
a-
down
and
here.
also to
You
be
know
able
what I
to
mean? They
afford
come to
that.
appreciate what
Yeah.
we have, not destroy it.
That's right.
Yeah.
In where I come from, so I used to hunt, and I was able to hunt when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was allowed to leave, and I mean 8, 9, 10 years old. I was allowed to leave my house with my .22 rifle, go through the almond orchards and Plinkett stuff. And as it kind of grew a little bit, we'd go out west about 4 miles, and we go over what was the California aqueduct and brought water in. But we'd hunt in these foothills, and there was deer and quail and everything. Well, next thing you know, you start to see some trash.
Yeah.
Then you see a little more trash. Then you see a little more trash. Then they put fences up. So I've actually lost my resources, and I think it's very important when you have a lot of growth, to really make dang sure, if you see an area that people are starting to deposit some trash, man, get a camera down there, get a trail camera down there, set it up, man. Just it's not their land to litter on,
100%.
and so it's good to keep everything.
Yeah.
Clean.
And,
Looks nice.
Looks nice.
Yeah.
And when you provide, back to the business statement again, when you provide a business like that really allows for profit to be made. You can then invest that back into the community, so that way when you do see something like that happening, you can have it taken care of.
Absolutely.
In a very quick